Most people think respect is something you demand, something you explain, something you beg for with patience, kindness, or silence. That's why they keep losing it. The truth is uncomfortable, but simple. People don't disrespect you because they're strong. They disrespect you because your response teaches them they can. Every time you tolerate sarcasm, every time you laugh off condescension, every time you explain yourself to someone committed to ignoring you, you're not keeping the peace. You're training them how to treat you. Stoic philosophy never taught submission. It taught self-command. The Stoics understood that respect doesn't come from words. It comes from behavior, from boundaries, from calm, decisive action. Today, you'll learn 5 Stoic ways to handle people who don't respect you, not by raising your voice, not by proving your worth, but by responding in a way that quietly changes the entire dynamic. Stay with me. Because the final way isn't about confrontation. It's about something far more powerful, removing access without losing your dignity. 1. Stop trying to be liked. The fastest way to lose respect is trying to be liked by everyone. Most people don't realize this because it feels harmless. They're polite. They're agreeable. They avoid conflict. They tell themselves, "I'm just keeping the peace." But underneath that behavior is something else. Approval seeking, and people sense it immediately. When you try too hard to be liked, you signal that your standards are flexible, that your boundaries are negotiable, that your self-worth depends on their reaction. Respect doesn't grow in that environment. It disappears. Stoic philosophy was very clear about this. You are not here to be liked. You are here to act rightly. And those two goals are not the same. People who are respected don't constantly adjust themselves to fit the room. They don't soften their convictions to avoid discomfort. They don't trade their values for acceptance. They act with consistency, and consistency creates gravity. Think about situations where people don't respect you. Often it's not open hostility. It's subtle, interrupting you, talking over you, dismissing your input, joking at your expense. And what do most people do? They laugh it off. They stay quiet. They try to be easygoing. But every time you do that, you teach people one thing. This behavior is acceptable. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be rude. It asks you to be clear. Clear in your actions, clear in your standards, clear in what you will and won't tolerate. That clarity doesn't come from speeches. It comes from not bending. When someone disrespects you, stop trying to smooth it over. You don't need to confront aggressively. You don't need to explain your feelings in detail. You simply stop rewarding the behavior. You pause. You withdraw engagement. You change how you show up. For example, if someone keeps interrupting you, you don't talk louder. You stop speaking and let the silence expose them. If someone makes disrespectful jokes, you don't laugh along. You let it land awkwardly. If someone dismisses your contribution, you don't chase validation. You reduce access. This isn't about ego. It's about alignment. Here's a Stoic principle worth remembering. People respect those who respect themselves enough not to beg for approval. The moment you stop trying to be liked, your behavior becomes firmer. Your words become fewer. Your presence becomes heavier. And something interesting happens. People adjust. Some will respect you more. Some will distance themselves. Both outcomes are information, because anyone who only respected you when you were agreeable never respected you in the first place. Remember this: respect is not requested. It's revealed by how people treat you after you stop chasing their approval. And the moment you let go of being liked, you create the conditions where respect can finally exist. 2. Respond, don't react. Disrespect often isn't loud. It's subtle. A smirk, a sarcastic comment, a dismissive tone. And it's designed to do one thing: pull an emotional reaction out of you. The moment you react, you've already lost leverage. Because reactions are predictable. They're fast. They're emotional. They reveal where you're sensitive. Stoic philosophy draws a hard line here. Reaction is impulse. Response is choice. Most people react because it feels justified. They want to defend themselves. They want to correct the disrespect. They want to set the record straight. But reacting doesn't command respect. It signals vulnerability. People who disrespect others are often testing boundaries. They're watching closely to see how quickly you get emotional, whether you feel the need to explain how much control they have over your mood. A reactive response answers all of that for them. Smart people do something different. They slow the moment down. They don't ignore disrespect. They don't accept it. But they also don't rush to correct it emotionally. They pause. That pause is not weakness, it's power. Because when you pause, you regain control of your tone, regain control of your words, regain control of the frame. Instead of snapping back, they respond calmly, briefly, precisely. Sometimes the strongest response is simply, "Let's stay on topic," or "That comment isn't productive." No emotion, no escalation, no explanation. Other times, the response is silence. Not passive silence, deliberate silence. Silence that forces the disrespect to sit in the open. Silence that makes others notice. Silence that removes the reward of reaction. Here's a Stoic insight many people miss. Disrespect feeds on attention. Calm responses starve it. When you respond without emotion, you shift the dynamic. The other person expects pushback. They expect defensiveness. They expect intensity. And when it doesn't come, they're exposed. Their comment feels smaller. Their tone feels unnecessary. Their behavior loses momentum. This is why calm responses often stop disrespect faster than confrontation. They don't give the other person a stage. Here's a simple practice you can use immediately. The next time someone disrespects you, 1. Pause for 2 seconds. 2. Lower your voice. 3. Respond in one short sentence, or not at all. No explanations, no emotional language, no justifying yourself. That restraint sends a clear signal. I'm not controlled by this. Over time, people adjust. Some will stop testing you. Some will back off. Some will reveal themselves more clearly. All of that works in your favor. Because respect isn't built by matching energy. It's built by holding your center. Remember this. You don't need to react to disrespect to stop it. You need to respond in a way that shows you are not shaken by it. And the calmest response is often the most intimidating one. 3. Set boundaries through actions. Most people try to talk their way into respect. They explain their boundaries. They justify their feelings. They ask politely to be treated better. And then they're surprised when nothing changes. Stoic philosophy is clear on this. Boundaries that need explanations are weak. Boundaries that are enforced through action are final. People who don't respect you are rarely confused. They're observant. They watch what you tolerate. They test how far they can go. They pay attention to consequences, not words. That's why speeches don't work. When you announce a boundary, you invite negotiation. When you enforce one, you change reality. Think about how this looks in real life. If someone keeps interrupting you, you don't say, "Please don't interrupt me." You stop speaking when they interrupt. You resume only when you're given space. If someone speaks to you with sarcasm, you don't argue about tone. You end the conversation. You reduce future engagement. If someone disrespects your time, you don't complain. You stop being available. You arrive later, leave earlier, or disengage entirely. No drama, no confrontation, just consistent behavior. Stoicism teaches self-command, not control over others. You don't need to change them. You need to change what they have access to. And access is the real currency here. When people realize that disrespect leads to less of your attention, less of your availability, less of your energy, they adjust or they disappear. Both outcomes are acceptable. Here's the key insight most people miss. What you tolerate trains people how to treat you. Every time you stay silent but remain present, you teach them that disrespect is survivable. Every time you withdraw calmly, you teach them that disrespect has a cost, and cost creates respect. Not fear, not hostility. Respect. Because respect isn't emotional, it's practical. People respect those who are consistent, those who don't argue about their standards, those who don't bend under pressure. This is why Stoic boundaries are quiet. No warnings, no ultimatums, no emotional displays, just action, and action speaks clearly. Remember this, you don't need to convince anyone to respect you. You need to stop participating in situations where you're not respected. That single shift changes everything. And once your boundaries are enforced through behavior, people either step up or step away. Both outcomes protect your dignity. 4. Withdraw. Attention, not dignity. Disrespect survives on one thing more than anything else: your attention. People who don't respect you are rarely interested in dialogue. They're interested in engagement. Your reaction, your explanation, your emotional investment. That attention is their reward. Stoic philosophy treats attention as a form of currency. Where you place it determines what grows. And smart people are very selective about where they spend it. When someone disrespects you, the instinct is to push back, to correct, to defend your position. But that often does the opposite of what you want. It tells them, you have my focus. You can pull me into your frame. Your behavior affects my inner state. Smart people refuse that transaction. They withdraw attention without lowering themselves. This distinction matters. Withdrawing attention doesn't mean being rude. It doesn't mean sarcasm. It doesn't mean passive aggression. It means neutral disengagement. You remain polite, you remain composed, but you stop feeding the dynamic. For example, if someone makes a dismissive comment, you don't counterattack. You don't justify. You simply don't engage with the bait. You change the topic. You return to the task. Or you end the interaction. Calmly. No visible irritation. No wounded pride, no performance. This is where dignity stays intact. Because dignity isn't about dominance, it's about self-command. Stoics understood that the fastest way to lose dignity is to let other people dictate your emotional energy. When you withdraw attention, something interesting happens. The disrespect loses momentum. Without reaction, there's nothing to push against. Without engagement, there's no payoff. Often the behavior stops. If it doesn't, it becomes obvious to everyone else. Either way, you win. Here's the key Stoic insight. You don't need to correct every instance of disrespect. You need to stop rewarding it. Attention is the reward. Remove it, and the behavior weakens. This also protects you internally. Instead of replaying conversations, instead of carrying irritation with you, you conserve energy. You stay centered, and centered people are harder to disrespect. Not because they intimidate, but because they're not available for nonsense. Here's a simple rule to apply. If an interaction consistently drains you, reduce the attention you give it. Shorter responses, less availability. Fewer emotional cues, no announcement. No explanation, just adjustment. That adjustment communicates more than words ever could. Remember this: you don't earn respect by fighting for it. You earn it by showing that your attention is too valuable to waste on disrespect. When you withdraw attention but keep your dignity, you send a clear message. I'm here to act with self-respect, not to entertain disrespect. And that shift alone changes how people treat you. 5. Walk away without explaining. This is where most people hesitate. They feel disrespected, but they stay. They stay to explain. They stay to be understood. They stay to fix the dynamic one last time, and every time they do, the disrespect deepens. Stoic philosophy is blunt about this. Ongoing disrespect is already an answer. You don't need another conversation. You don't need closure. You don't need them to agree with your decision. You need to recognize the pattern and act. Smart people understand something critical. If someone repeatedly disrespects you, they are not confused. They are informed and choosing differently. At that point, explanation becomes negotiation, and negotiation signals weakness. Walking away without explaining is not avoidance. It's final clarity. It says, "I've seen enough." Not emotionally, not dramatically, but decisively. This doesn't mean storming out. It doesn't mean cutting people off aggressively. It means removing access. You stop engaging. You stop initiating. You stop putting yourself in situations where disrespect is normalized. No announcement, no long message, no justification. Because justification invites argument, and argument keeps you stuck. Stoics believed that silence, used correctly, is an act of strength. Not silent treatment, not punishment, but self-command. Here's why this works. Disrespect survives on two things: your presence, your emotional availability. When you quietly remove both, the dynamic collapses. Some people will notice and adjust, others won't. Either way, you've protected your dignity, and dignity is non-negotiable. Here's a simple Stoic exit rule. If you've set boundaries through action, responded calmly, withdrawn attention, and the disrespect continues, you leave. No speech, no final lesson, no attempt to be understood, because you don't need their understanding to make a correct decision. You need alignment with your values. This is where respect actually returns, not always from them, but from yourself. And self-respect changes everything. When you walk away without explaining, you stop performing, you stop defending, you stop shrinking, you stand on principle. Remember this: you don't demand respect, you don't negotiate respect, you demonstrate it by refusing to stay where it doesn't exist. That is the Stoic way. Calm, firm, final. Respect begins where tolerance ends. Let's be clear about something. People don't suddenly start respecting you because you explain yourself better. They don't change because you stay patient longer, and they don't stop crossing lines because you finally find the perfect words. Respect changes when your behavior changes, when you stop trying to be liked, when you stop reacting emotionally, when you enforce boundaries through action, when you withdraw attention instead of dignity, and when necessary, when you walk away without explaining. That's not aggression, that's self-command. Stoic philosophy was never about dominating others, it was about mastering yourself. Because the moment you stop tolerating disrespect, you stop teaching people that it's acceptable. You don't need to announce your standards. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. You don't need the last word. Your actions already speak. And here's the quiet truth. The people who truly respect you will feel your strength without you saying a word. The ones who don't were never meant to stay. So if you take one lesson from this video, let it be this: you don't demand respect. You live in a way that no longer accepts its absence. If one of these 5 ways resonated with you, leave it in the comments. And if you're building a life rooted in calm strength, clear boundaries, and unshakable self-respect, subscribe and stay with us. Because Stoicism isn't about hardening your heart. It's about standing so firmly in who you are that disrespect simply has nowhere to land. Final affirmation: I respect myself. I act with calm strength. I no longer stay where I am not valued.